Guys, the coronavirus is out of fucking control in this country. Number of cases. Oh, you shut up, CNN. Nobody cares about you. I just wanted the graphs. Look at this. And look how steep it is. And remember, this lags 2 or 3 weeks behind. So we're already way up here off the fucking chart. So this is positivity rates. There was a lot of positivity rates. It was a much higher number back in the spring when there were very few tests. So the number of people that were getting tested tend to yield higher positivity rates. So that went down the more testing we did because we were testing people that weren't testing positive. That positivity rates are going back up of the number of people being tested. This is what it looks like in the Midwest. These are the states. Ironically, the states that don't have mask mandates, the states where Republicans are, where they're least likely to follow restrictions. Hospitalizations. We have gone beyond the spike in April. Now in April, this was in metropolitan areas like Seattle, Los Angeles, Boston, New York. This time the spike is in rural America, all through the fucking country. Yeah. Tennessee is eat up with it. And so Joe Biden, his proposal has been like a 4 to 6 week lockdown and to pay everybody to get this under control again. And right wingers are losing their fucking minds over it. Let's go back to Parler. They were talking about it on the front page. I'm going to upvote my own video. I don't see a poster. Okay, here we go. Here's Graham Allen, who I insulted last night. California becomes the second state to pass 1 million COVID-19 infections. And this is weird. Despite having their citizens living in a literal prison the entire time. That's not true. You're also using the word literal very wrong. You mean a figurative prison. Oh, I guess lockdowns don't work. Yuck, 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 yuck. That's kind of funny because if we look at this graph, oh look, California's still in the green. Guess lockdowns do work. You know why they have 1 million cases, son? Because they have a lot of fucking people. As a percentage, it's actually not that high. Hospitalizations, again, like that number. And there are hospitals all in rural America that are holding press conferences, begging people to rethink their Thanksgiving plans, to please wear masks, and shithead Republicans are still bucking it. I'm going to make like a French hen for myself for Thanksgiving. Like I usually do. Sometimes my family comes and picks me up and has me cook dinner. But one of the things that really pisses me off is I am a concert head. I haven't been to a concert in quite some time. Nick Cave came on while I was in the shower like, God damn, I was going to see Nick Cave this year. Fuck you, coronavirus, but mainly fuck you, assholes that aren't following the guidelines. The deaths are getting ready to skyrocket. Because one of the reasons why the death rate now, we're better at treating it now, but it's also mutated into several different strains. Just like I said it would. A guy back in like March or April blocked me on Facebook for saying, hey, you don't want to let this run wild because it can mutate into something worse. He posted a woman that said there is a 1 in 100 chance of that happening. And I'm like, do you know what happens when you give something that has a 1 in 100 of a chance? Millions of chances. It happens. You dumb fuckers. I wish I could go I love going out to dinner. Sparkles and I used to go out to dinner every Friday night. I haven't sat in a restaurant in an incredibly long time. I've gotten takeout a few times. I've had pad thai. I've had some barbecue from my favorite barbecue place. I've had sushi delivered to me. On my birthday, I had sushi delivered to me. Other than that, I have cooked completely from home. I miss restaurants. That's the last of those charts. Now, Pfizer has announced that they've had a very effective vaccine, like 90% effective, which is incredible. Unfortunately, some of these vaccines may have potentially unpleasant side effects. May cause people to feel crummy for a few days, and then they'll need a second dose. And the crazy part about these vaccines is they have to be kept refrigerated. I think they have to be below freezing. So they have to be transported in refrigerated trucks. Pfizer is expected to seek federal permission to release its COVID-19 vaccine by the end of November. Will require 2 doses to work. Injections must be given weeks apart. Scientists anticipate that the shots will cause innervating? I've never seen that word before. Innervating flu-like side effects. And even if a vaccine proves 90% effective, the rate Pfizer touted for its product, 1 in 10 recipients would still be vulnerable. That means, at least in the short term, as population level immunity grows, people can't stop social distancing and throw away their masks. I've been saying it all along. We probably need to start wearing masks in public during flu season anyway. I don't like people spitting on me. Like, just when you're like walking through an area, you sit down at a table, take your fucking mask off. No big deal. Do it for the health of other people. Now, China has already started vaccinating people with an experimental vaccine, which in a way I think is kind of cool. You guys go ahead and try it out. Let us have access to your medical data. Because, in all honesty, I don't trust capitalism, I don't trust Pfizer, and I definitely don't trust the current occupant of the White House. Let's see. China has 4 experimental vaccines developed by 3 companies now going through phase 3 of human trials and safety testing before they can be approved for commercial use. The 2 frontrunners have both stressed that they are not ready to deploy their vaccines commercially. Well, hey, at least they're being cautious about it. But you know who isn't being cautious about anything? Idiot-ass right-wingers, especially religious people here in the United States. LA mega church pastor mocks pandemic health orders even as church members fall ill. There is no pandemic. The words from the white-haired pastor echoed inside the cavernous megachurch. August 30th. Now, I didn't get a chance to go and dig through the videos and actually get that video, but you know I did find a video of him that we are indeed going to watch. This was his sermon from last night.
Facebook shops.
Wow, you're gonna have your channel monetized when you've got the word of God? Holy shit. I think somebody said, "Make not my father's house a house of merchandise." Was that the quote? But I mean, not like religious people are ever hypocrites, right?
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
We
obviously desire to do everything for
And I love
the
how
Lord.
this is a must watch.
It's another way of saying, whatever you do, whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do it all to the glory of the Lord.
Even if you're spreading the coronavirus, do it to the glory of the
As I
Lord.
said earlier, we want to take a look at the subject of fellowship,
Can I get an amen?
something we are missing in a dire way these days. The very essence of
I guess that's a
life
dig
in the
at the
church
COVID restrictions.
is relational. And relational not in a superficial way, but in a very intense and deep and
Now, I wonder if he puts his
way.
money where his mouth is and actually
The model for that,
doesn't
of
wear a
course, is
mask,
the Trinity.
doesn't protect
Father, Son, and
himself.
Holy Spirit in that eternal relationship of
'Cause
love.
you look awfully old.
We, being made in God's image, are made for relationship. And the purest and best and highest and noblest of those relationship categories exists in the life of those who belong to God, who share his life.
I watched a couple minutes of this dude. It was really boring. It was not
New
must
Testament
watch,
tells
as
us
they
that
said.
the Son of God came and pitched his tent.
Fuck him. Pitched his tent. Maybe I should have stuck with him. But now, college football has had. I know nothing about sports. I just saw that like games constantly being canceled the last few days. Apparently, football teams are eat up with it. And that's the thing. They shouldn't have had school this year. Absolutely not. Especially not colleges. Now, there's arguments to be made for elementary school students and doing it in a safe way. But college, especially colleges with sports programs, is one of the things that's been driving this. First of all, they wanted to be able to charge full price for tuition. And that's why they wanted people on campuses. Make no mistake about it. And they wanted football games to continue. I mean, this is just an absolute death march. I can't believe that we have been willing to just let this virus ravage our communities and kill. Are we over 250,000 people dead? I don't even know the number yet. I've lost count. All in the name of profit. Because the thing that would have done the best is just pay people to sit at home for a little while. Now, I can't argue with people trying to go out and make a living when the government isn't providing you any help. But we should have had rent freeze, mortgage freeze. We should have paid everybody to sit their asses at home. And had we done that through March, May, June, and actually contact trace and test people the proper way, we could have absolutely had sports. We could have had concerts. Things are back to normal in other countries, or close to. But now, thanks to our stupidity, doctors are even saying reinfection is more likely than initially thought.
Wish you didn't have to pay full price.
Wish I didn't have to watch fucking commercials. Now you may ask, why don't I use an ad blocker? And it's because I go to a lot of these news sites and I have to turn the ad blocker off in order to watch their shit.
Treated more.
So this is a
fact, we
University
treated
of
more-
Alabama Birmingham doctor. I thought it was fitting since I did a sports story. They are like one of the premier programs, medical programs for medical
More than
sports.
In fact, we've treated more than one, and I suspect we're going to start seeing more too now that more people are getting infected.
The CDC says reinfections remain rare.
When the first cases were reported The emphasis
I'm betting
was,
that
well,
number
this
goes
was
up
really
after the
uncommon.
holidays.
Probably doesn't
Way
really
up.
happen very often. I think it's maybe not that uncommon.
Meaning,
You know, initially they were saying less than 1%. I'm not really sure it's going to be that low. It may be as high as 5% or even 10%. Why do I say that? Because coronaviruses, as we have talked about before, are the part of the spectrum of viruses that cause the common cold.
common.
We get common colds a lot, and we get common colds from different coronaviruses, and sometimes the same coronaviruses winter after winter.
What about post-COVID immunity?
I don't think that the immunity, the natural immunity to these infections is particularly long lasting.
The cases Dr. Marazzo's reviewed show
And they've happened pretty much after about 3 months, which makes sense because your antibody probably doesn't last
has some
beyond
awesome
3
glasses.
to 4 months, maybe, even though we have some debate about that. So I do think reinfections are a risk.
she says they tell even patients who've been infected to continue to follow the same COVID precautions.
Please, if you've had COVID before, don't assume you're not susceptible again. It may mean your second infection isn't as severe, but it doesn't mean
I've seen
you
a
can't
couple people say their
live.
second
So even if you don't
infection
have
is
a
far
bad infection
worse.
The second time, you're